Air conditioning. Kind of warm. It's nice, actually.
Here's the holdup. My dispatcher's saying that your license is suspended.
But it's not suspended. I've had something that was on my license from years ago.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, long time ago. And that it's been cleared up, and it pops up once in a while, but it's all cleared up.
Do you have any documentation indicating same? Because right now our records show that your license is suspended.
What would it be suspended for?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
In a video posted on June 22nd, 2022, Canadian YouTuber, entrepreneur, and exotic car enthusiast Damon Fryer was driving a Lamborghini in Anaheim, California when he was pulled over by Sergeant Gonzalez of the Anaheim Police Department. Mr. Fryer often travels to California from his home in Canada, and he shared multiple interactions with California law enforcement officers on his YouTube channel, Daily Driven Exotics. In fact, after Sergeant Gonzalez initiated the traffic stop, Mr. Fryer's passenger filmed the encounter that followed.
We got lights. We weren't sure what he was going to do, but... Well, our exit's in a mile. Unfortunately, this guy wants to stop now. Yeah, he just has to get on the freeway. I don't want to test the patience. I don't know if you guys know this on the freeway. You don't pull off on the shoulder. You find the first exit, pull over where it's safe for you and the officer, which in this case would be right here. Turn off the car, he said. I want air conditioning.
He's mad.
For what?
I don't know. What's he waiting for?
Hello.
Hello, hey. How you doing?
Good, I'm Sergeant Gonzalez, Anaheim Police.
Nice to meet you.
The reason why I'm stopping you, did you notice I was behind you?
Yeah?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed that you were obviously going faster than 65.
You're
and then you
kidding
made
me.
an unsafe lane change.
You're kidding me, right?
I'm not. Do you have your license and registration, please?
Yeah. So the whole time I was being passed by the, I don't know, like 20 other cars around us.
Can you speak up? I can't hear you.
I said, so, well, we were being passed that whole time by the 20 other cars around us. That wasn't a concern to you, hey?
Can I have your license and registration?
That's kind of what I thought.
I noticed the license plates, they don't seem like California, or is there a near, where are they from?
So, how is it?
I'll go over there so I can talk to you, man. All right.
How is it in an unsafe lane change?
Okay, so here's the thing. You obviously caught my attention because
I drive a Lamborghini.
You're like, no, not necessarily, because look, I'm a sergeant, and I don't normally pull traffic stops, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, I noticed, when I looked at my speedometer, I was pacing you, you were like over 80 miles per hour. And the other thing is you're revving your engine, like exhaust loudly.
What? No, this is how the car drives.
So much that when I was on the phone, the officer was like, what is that I was talking to? The other thing is, when you made a change, when you're in the number 1 lane and you made that left lane change, the vehicle that was behind you had to stop on its brakes.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Well, that's what I'm explaining, the violation.
That's not a violation. Braking because someone's lane changing and signaling is not illegal.
The vehicle behind you speeding by its brakes.
No, how do you know? How do you know he wasn't speeding? If you're saying I was speeding, then he must have been going even faster.
Speeding. That was an unsafe lane. So where is this license from?
It's from British Columbia, Canada.
How long have you been in the state of California?
4 days.
24 hours
on vacation?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Is the license valid in Canada?
It is.
Is this registration? This is your insurance?
Insurance is the small one. Registration is the big one.
You know what the speed limit is on the freeway?
Yeah, it's 65.
Okay. And how fast do you think you were going?
65.
Okay. All right, wait in the car, okay?
Yeah. Unsafe lane, changed my.
Not sure what he's doing, but he's on his phone. He had to find his ticket book. He said he's a sergeant, so he said he doesn't typically do traffic stops. So we're just hanging out, waiting. Currently in the car, no air conditioning. Kind of warm. It's nice, actually.
Here's the holdup. My dispatcher's saying that your license is suspended.
But it's not suspended. I've had something that was on my license from years ago.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, long time ago. And that it's been cleared up, and it pops up once in a while, but it's all cleared up.
Do you have any documentation indicating same? Because right now our records show that your license is suspended.
What would it be suspended for?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Like something in your guys' system is like super archaic, and it just shows up. Just
Well,
like
I think it's the different countries that's the problem.
Yeah.
Did you have a California ID before?
No.
Okay.
I've never lived here. I've always been a tourist. I had a ticket.
It says also, that's what I'm trying to confirm. It says that you have a California, or no, a non-issued driver's license or something like that. So you never had an ID in California?
No.
It seems to me like this was almost planned.
What was?
This whole like encounter between me and you. Is that accurate?
Do we know each other?
No, but just the way like, it just seems almost like you're trying to bait me into like some social media thing. And I'm smarter than that. I'm just saying like the cameras right away, just the way you're revving your engine, driving, just very unusual. Again, I'm a sergeant and I don't normally pull people over on the freeway, but the way you're driving, I actually thought you couldn't see me or something because I came up very close to you to try to look at your plate and read it.
Okay.
And I couldn't get it because I couldn't recognize it, obviously because it's from Canada.
Okay.
So this seems like it's all like planned by you. Is that accurate?
No, I mean, I don't plan getting pulled over ever.
Right. Did you see me behind you?
Yeah, I saw you.
And you thought I should rev my engine loudly and kind of be almost like driving a sports manner?
Well, I'm driving a sports car, so it sounds like a sports car.
No, I understand that, but it just seemed like, to me, I'm telling you.
Are you a car guy?
Am I what?
A car guy.
During the stop, Sergeant Gonzalez questions Mr. Fryer as to whether he intentionally revved his engine in an effort to provoke a traffic stop for YouTube footage. Under California law, revving an engine is not by itself illegal, and a court would likely determine that the act of revving alone would not support a traffic stop. However, even if the engine revving is what initially drew Sergeant Gonzalez's attention or caused him to initiate the stop, that fact does not control the constitutional analysis. The Supreme Court held in the 1996 case of Wren versus United States that an officer's subjective motivations for making a stop are irrelevant to determining its lawfulness under the Fourth Amendment, meaning that courts do not consider an officer's actual reason for making a stop when determining whether a traffic stop complied with the Fourth Amendment. Instead, courts look to whether there were objective facts that would allow a reasonable officer to believe that a traffic violation had occurred. In other words, even if Sergeant Gonzalez chose to stop Mr. Fryer due to the revving, a court would likely conclude that the stop was still lawful based on the objective facts supporting a suspicion of speeding and unsafe lane change.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Are you a car guy?
Am I what?
A car guy.
I don't know enough about cars to even say, yeah, I know very minimal. Not enough to tell you what this even was when I saw it.
So it sounds accurate that you don't know enough about this car to know whether or not I was revving it.
Well, it sounded to me that you were, yeah, it doesn't take even a lower, I guess, torque or horsepower car, you can tell if someone's revving the engine. Like a Honda Civic, which would be a 4-cylinder, I can tell.
Well, this is a V.
Increases in noise, so that's why I was asking. So let me figure out your license thing, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
So this car has it has a V12 engine. It's not a 4-cylinder. It's just going to be louder.
Like as an example, I understand this is has a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque. My example to you was in my Honda Civic that I used to own that had a 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
I can tell when a car is revving or not.
Right.
Just like you can tell if a V12, V8, or V10, right? Maybe not a Lucid or a Tesla. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert in that either, but.
Did your Honda Civic have paddle shifters? Does your Honda Civic?
I'm not going to get into that.
Does your Honda Civic rev match? Do you know what that is? So there's an OEM feature that basically makes sure that when you downshift, it's going to align the RPMs with the engine speed.
Before you go into great detail,
Well, I'm explaining the revving.
I know.
Because you're concerned about it.
I'm telling you when you ask me. So, I don't know what your intent was. I know that I have traffic violations that I witnessed. You're obviously not from this area, so I have the ability to give you a warning. I keep in consideration that you're not from the area, but again, and you're here visiting and stuff. To me, it seemed like this was like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't, but maybe you guys are just ready. But I'm gonna tell you this. Your driving and what happened was enough for me to pull you over as I'm on my way to speak to my supervisor about something else, okay? Now, based on the totality of the circumstances, I'm gonna give you a strong verbal warning today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I did explain the reasons why I stopped you. I'd ask that you keep in mind in traffic, maybe being more cautious when making a lane change. That's part of my warning. And the speed limit is 65. And when I'm behind you and I look at my speedometer and it says more than 65, now I'm not saying I paced you for a great distance or anything like that, but that's an indicator that you're speeding. Does that make sense?
I appreciate you giving me a warning.
All right, hold on a second.
Thanks a lot.
Forever.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
But I'm
So,
sure.
so what info would he say it looks suspended? Like you're saying it looks suspended.
They were doing like some system called, I think she said Elite, which I've never even heard of. To be honest with you, I'm not a traffic guy.
Yeah.
She goes, trying to do further follow up and can confirm that.
So we tried it as British Columbia.
There you go.
There you go.
In my group, they tried it as British Columbia, and we got the return.
They're doing further digging.
Status shows normal and valid.
Normal and valid.
Name and DOB. It's showing a class 5 or 6, and I'm Googling to see if I can figure out what a class 5
Motorcycle.
is. In other words, it does say
Motorcycle 5 and 6.
Okay, no further need.
Although dispatch initially flagged a potential suspension on Mr. Fryer's Canadian driver's license, the license is ultimately confirmed as valid. Generally speaking, Section 12500 of the California Vehicle Code prohibits individuals from driving within the state without a valid California driver's license unless they are expressly exempted under the code. Section 12502 provides such an exemption, authorizing non-resident drivers over the age of 18 to operate a motor vehicle in California without obtaining a California license, provided they have in their immediate possession a valid driver's license issued by a foreign jurisdiction of which they are a resident. Once an individual moves to California and establishes residency, however, they may no longer rely on a foreign license and must obtain a California driver's license. Accordingly, once Mr. Fryer confirmed that he was a visitor rather than a California resident, and dispatch verified that his British Columbian license was valid, there was no legal basis to believe that he was driving unlawfully in the state.
But I'm sure.
So what info would he say it looks suspended? Like you're saying it looks suspended.
They were doing like some system called, I think she said Elite, which I've never even heard of. To be honest with you, I'm not a traffic guy.
Yeah.
She goes, so I asked her to confirm, and she goes, yeah, it looks to be that way, and she was trying to do further follow up and can confirm that.
So we tried it as British Columbia.
There you go.
There you go.
In my group, they tried it as British Columbia, and we got the return.
Does that say valid? They're doing further digging.
Status shows normal and valid.
Normal and valid.
Name and DOB. It's showing a class 5 or 6, and I'm Googling to see if I can figure out what a class 5 is.
Motorcycle.
In other words, it does say
Motorcycle 5 and 6.
Okay, no further need. That confirms he has a valid ID. Here's the holdup. My dispatcher's saying that your license is suspended.
Because it's from a different country, some officers have a hard time finding that it's valid.
Well, that's why I asked dispatch. That's what they do for.
That's their job, right?
Right. Well, they have an expertise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely reached out to them because, again, I couldn't even recognize your plate.
Well, you were super cool, man. Yeah. I didn't set this up. Like if I was setting this up, I would have done something to really get your attention. I felt I was driving quite normally. I had people still passing me going even faster, and I honestly lane changed. I signaled, I shoulder checked because this does have a blind spot. And when I came into that lane, that guy was going way faster than I was going if he had to brake.
He did break.
Sergeant Gonzalez allowed Mr. Fryer to leave with a warning and did not issue any citations. Overall, Sergeant Gonzalez gets an A- for maintaining a calm and respectful demeanor throughout the interaction, grounding the detention in objectively articulable traffic violations, even if his initial interest was arguably pretextual, and for pausing the encounter long enough to verify the status of Mr. Fryer's foreign driver's license before taking any unnecessary action. Sergeant Gonzalez told Mr. Fryer that he stopped him for speeding and an unsafe lane change, and he later explained that he believed that a vehicle behind Mr. Fryer had to brake as a result of the lane change. California Vehicle Code Section 22107 prohibits moving right or left on a roadway unless the movement can be made with reasonable safety, and it requires an appropriate signal when other vehicles may be affected. Even if the camera does not conclusively establish whether the trailing vehicle actually needed to brake, the relevant point for the Fourth Amendment analysis is whether the officer could articulate objective facts supporting a reasonable belief that a traffic violation occurred. As discussed earlier, the Supreme Court's 1996 decision in Wren versus United States forecloses the argument that a stop becomes unconstitutional because the officer's real-world motivation was curiosity about the driver, the vehicle, or the prospect of quote-unquote content. If Sergeant Gonzalez observed conduct that he reasonably understood as speeding and an unsafe lane change, well, the stop would likely be treated as lawful, regardless of whether the Lamborghini, cameras, or engine noise drew his attention first. Regardless of the fact that Sergeant Gonzalez's own statements lay out a clear argument for a pretextual stop, there is no legitimate legal merit in that defense, and the sergeant requires nothing more than suspicion of a traffic infraction to initiate a lawful stop. Furthermore, dispatch reportedly flagged Mr. Fryer's license as quote-unquote suspended, but Sergeant Gonzalez did not accept that information at face value, and thus didn't attempt to arrest Mr. Fryer or tow his car. Instead, he sought clarification, asked for documentation, and continued the stop in a way that suggests that he was attempting to confirm whether there was actually a license problem before acting on it. Once Mr. Fryer notified the sergeant that he was visiting, and the record ultimately reflected that his British Columbian license was valid, then the stop no longer supported any inference that he was unlawfully driving on a foreign license. Even if Section 12500 of the California Vehicle Code generally prohibits driving without a California-issued license, absent an exemption, that prohibition is not relevant once the non-resident exemption is satisfied. I commend Sergeant Gonzalez for staying measured, explaining the basis for the stop in an intelligible way, and choosing verification and proportionality over escalation when a cross-border license check introduced uncertainty into an otherwise routine stop. However, it is important to bear in mind that the available footage does not show whether Mr. Fryer actually committed any violations or engaged in any conduct that would legitimately warrant a traffic stop, and by no means should this grade be interpreted as an endorsement of pretextual stops. The broader point here is that Sergeant Gonzalez's conduct appeared lawful based on the available evidence and judicial precedent, but pretextual stops are still a highly contentious aspect of policing that certainly warrants further scrutiny. Mr. Fryer also gets an A- for remaining calm and respectful while contesting the stop, articulating a coherent and fact-based disagreement with the sergeant's assertions, and for cooperating with the administrative aspects of the stop without escalating the encounter into a confrontation. Mr. Fryer has had many past experiences with American police officers from various states and is relatively well versed in the intricacies of American traffic laws. Drawing from that experience, Mr. Fryer did not accept the premise that he committed the violations, but he challenged them in a way that stayed measured and intelligible. He disputed the speeding allegation, questioned the lane change characterization, and pointed to surrounding traffic as context for why the officer's account did not match his own perception of events. That kind of pushback can easily become combative, especially when it's delivered from inside the vehicle during a stop, and Mr. Fryer avoided that trap while still advocating for himself in a productive way. His argument also tracked closely with the key distinction already laid out earlier in the video between an officer's motivation and the objective basis for a stop. Instead of escalating into hostility, he kept circling back to what he believed the objective facts were, including his claim that he signaled and checked his blind spot, and his contention that any braking behind him reflected the other driver's speed rather than an inherently unsafe movement on his part. Now, even though Sergeant Gonzalez maintained that the trailing vehicle had to brake, Mr. Fryer's disagreement was framed as a factual dispute about what occurred and how it should be interpreted, rather than a personal attack attack on the sergeant's authority. He also handled the licensing issue in a cooperative way once it became clear that dispatch had raised a potential problem. He gave concise background about being a visitor and addressed the suspension flag without panicking or becoming evasive, which helped keep the stop on track and reduce the odds that uncertainty about a foreign license would then spiral into enforcement action that was later difficult to unwind. That said, Mr. Fryer could have navigated the sergeant's questioning more tactfully by talking less and invoking the right to silence if necessary. While Mr. Fryer's statements did not derail the stop here, extended explanations and improvisational debate rarely improve a driver's legal position in real time, and a more legally prudent approach would have been to provide identifying documents, state his disagreement briefly, and then invoke his right to remain silent rather than continuing to litigate the stop on the roadside. This interaction highlights how a driver can dispute an officer's account firmly and credibly, but still improve their outcome by minimizing unnecessary dialogue and protecting themselves with disciplined silence once the core disagreement has been stated. Let us know if there's an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching.